Imagine a pale finch, the color of wind-brushed snow, with a soft hint of pink at its breast, tapping the fuzzy catkins of a birch in a powdery clearing. It moves like a tiny ember among bare twigs, quick, bright, and somehow warm against the cold. In that moment, we see nature's quiet wisdom. And here begins our story of the hoary redpoll.
A brief note before we go further. These birds are easily disturbed in winter. If you encounter flocks, please observe at a distance. Avoid flushing them from their feeding spots, and never leave out foods that harm them. I'll return to practical stewardship in a few minutes. Simple, region-aware steps you can take to help.
This is the hoary redpoll, Acanthus hornemani, small, pale, and built for cold edges. You find them at the ragged margin of boreal woods, birch scrub boundaries, and the windswept fringe of tundra. Picture narrow trunks, laced with snow, and the steady thread of birch catkins, tiny pockets of food that make these places livable through the long winter.
In spring and summer up north, hoary redpolls choose sheltered willows and low scrub to nest. They tuck their nests into thick, insulating places, moss-lined cups hidden among dense twigs. Clutches tend to be modest, a handful of pale eggs warmed by patient parents. The first days of a chick's life are quiet and dense with care, the adults shuttling tiny seeds and soft insects, keeping their brood warm against sudden weather swings. Growing up here is a lesson in persistence. Juveniles fled under shifting skies and face long winters where food can be scarce. Threats are rarely dramatic on screen, more a rhythm of hunger, fierce wind, and the constant need to find enough tiny seeds to power a metabolism built for cold. Yet in their smallness, there's a quiet resilience. Juveniles learn flock cues, where to harvest the richest catkins, and how to conserve energy between feeding bouts. As adults, hoary redpolls are exquisite seed specialists. Their bills are compact and strong, perfect for picking out tiny oil-rich seeds from birch catkins and alder cones. Watch how they cling to a twig, tilt their heads, and extract a seed with delicate efficiency. They budget energy like small accountants, short flights between perches, frequent feeding, and careful choices about when to roost and when to forage. In the simplest moments, their survival is all about the next seed. One of the most remarkable things about redpolls is their social choreography. In winter, hundreds may assemble into loose flocks, moving, feeding, and roosting with surprising coordination. Some years, when northern seed crops fail, large eruptions occur. Flocks move south in hungry waves. These movements are not chaotic panics, but careful, weather-influenced choices, nature's way of spreading risk. Observers can learn a lot about the state of northern seed-producing places just by tracking these eruptions.
Courtship is quietly tender. In the brief northern summer, pairs form and time breeding to the pulse of insects and seed availability. Displays are subtle, soft calls, brief approaches, and shared nest-building chores. Many pairs are faithful, at least for a season. Some form longer bonds when conditions allow. There's a gentle intimacy to it. No grand dances, just dependable gestures that keep the next generation coming.
Now, about people and stewardship, if you love these small finches, there are modest, responsible things you can do. First, never feed them bread, sweet mixes, or anything that could cause dependency or illness. Offer small, appropriate seeds, Niger or finely hulled sunflower, in clean feeders, placed where predators like cats or corvids can't ambush feeding flocks. Better yet, encourage native shrubs and seed-bearing trees, birch, alder, and native elder, so birds find natural food and shelter. And if you're unsure what plants are right for your region, check local native plant lists or talk with extension services. One size does not fit all.
In a moment, we'll pause together to listen. For the next minute or so, I invite you to let the soundscape take over. Thin redpoll calls, the whisper of birch in cold wind, the soft shuffle of a feeding flock. Use this time to notice textures, the brittle scrape of catkins, the distant hush of a drifty sky. I'll say one brief line, then we will hold the space to listen. Now listen. I'll be silent for about 75 seconds so you can hear the small layered sounds that make a winter redpoll place feel alive. Welcome back. Those sparse calls and the way the flock shifted together tell a quiet story. These are birds tuned to patchy resources, and their presence is a reminder that small seed-rich places matter. If you find a flock, respect it. Observe from a distance. Report sightings to citizen science platforms if you can, and consider planting or protecting native shrubs in ways that fit your landscape and local rules.
The hoary redpoll asks little from us and gives much in return. A lesson in endurance, a fragile ember against the cold, and a living signal about the health of seed-rich edges. If this quiet story brought you a moment of calm or curiosity, I hope you'll come back for another bird, one small life at a time. And there lies a story worth remembering. One bird, one story. Complete peace.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Avian Tranquility to receive more calm, species-focused stories. Share this with someone who loves winter birding, or save the show notes for the regional planting suggestions and safe feeder recipes. Thank you for listening and for caring about the small things that keep cold-edge skies alive.